Fingers crossed. Yes, it is.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, item number 1, apologies for absence, please, Vicky.
Councillor Dave Smith, Councillor Liz Smith and Councillor Crooks.
Thank you. Item number 2, declarations of pecuniary interest and request for dispensation. Anyone?
No, thank you.
No. Okay. Item number 3, minutes of the previous meeting. May I sign these as a true record? All those in favour, please show.
And I have a proposer and a seconder before we have all in favour.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
Propose.
And second.
And second.
Proposed, and Councillor Stitchcombe, and second Tony Brown. Councillor Brown.
Thank you.
And all those in favour, please show. Thank you. Right, item number 3.
4.
4, sorry. Matters arising from those minutes. Page 131. We've got an action which is P20 099. Clerk to send amendment to list to West Suffolk.
Yes, I did do that.
Okay.
That was to incorporate additional names on the.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just joining with my. Just join with my laptop, and that's why you're getting feedback. Should be okay now, hopefully. Oops.
So, Chairman, I actioned that minute. Thank you.
Right, thank you. And next page is 132. And the next one is matters to report.
That again was linked to the previous thing. So I did contact the family history group, and I got their suggestions for Westfield Middle School site, and I sent that off.
Okay, thank you very much. And page 133. Bruce, can I just say, Bruce, can you put your light on, please? Thank you very much. That's better. I can see your lovely face now. Right, 134. That's it. Right, let's get back to the agenda. Oh, sorry, pressed the wrong button. Right, item number 5, the members of the public. Have we got any members of the public?
No.
No? Right, thank you. Item number 6, to consider planning applications to West Suffolk Council.
Chair, can I just bring something up? The list A for the delegated powers, I should have put item number 1, 15 Mullins Close in that list. That is one that you dealt with while I was away on holiday.
That's correct, yeah, and we've got it on the list B, haven't we?
Yeah, so that should have gone under delegated powers. I apologise for that.
Okay.
So that was a neutral decision because they had concerns. We had concerns over the parking, and so did the planning technician, and so they amended the plans to accommodate that.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, the next one is DC 20 1365 HH. So I've got the next door neighbour, Mashabra, I think that's pronounced, but I'm not sure. If you look at the further comments, because there's 2 comments from next door. One was from the actual lady who wrote in pen that wasn't very distinguishable to people to make note of, but I noticed her daughter has wrote on the further comments, and she said I don't know if we can get that up, Vicky. Can you share that?
I've got them off of John's website, so if I can share the screen, I can get them up. I think Colin may have to do that because I've just pressed share screen. It says disabled.
Do I enable that to happen?
If you can.
There's usually an option for me to do that.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Leave this with me, I'll just see if I can work out how to do it. You want to do another item whilst I try and work that out?
Okay. Next one is DC 20, which is item number 3 on there. DC 20 1037 HH. Has everyone read that? Is there any comments on that at all? Councillor Stitchcombe? You're muted.
I know, that's why I'm waving. Yet again, I've moved over onto Acrobat Reader to check the agenda and lost contact with the Zoom app. Sorry about that. I'm neutral. I think it's absolutely fine. I'm neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral as well. I don't know. Is there any other comments? No. Right, can I have the proposer, please? And the seconder, right, Councillor Stitchman and Councillor Brown, second.
Yeah.
All those in favour of neutral, please show. Okay, thank you. The next one is DC 20 1388. Is there any comments on this one? Councillor Stitchman?
I'm neutral again with this.
Yeah.
Yes. And are you neutral as well, Councillor Brown?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that, yeah, they've tried to make it look identical to the Siamese 20, the other building on the other side. I think, you know, it looks really good what they're doing, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm neutral as well. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's neutral then. Can I propose it, please, for a neutral? Councillor Stinchcombe. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Brown. All those in favour, please show. Okay. Right, the next one is DC 2014-29. This one, obviously we've had it before. Unless I'm looking wrong, but I can't see any difference between this one and the last one, personally. Councillor Stinchcombe?
They've extended the proposed new flat so that it now has a decent, I had to look at the two plans and switch between them to really understand what was going on. We've now got a dining area which isn't a gangway in the kitchen, which is good. It's actually got put a roof, it's knocked down the wall and rebuilt a new one, so there's now a proper dining area. It's not a very big dining area, but it's no longer in a gangway, so that's good. And that has also led to the bedroom being bigger, which we were concerned about, weren't we? You know, is this bedroom really big enough? And then there was that tiny living area, which together with the kitchen not being so obstructed by dining furniture, I think it will feel bigger, and there is actually objectively some more floor area in it as well. So I'm neutral on this now.
Okay. Any more comments? No? We're neutral again then?
Yeah, I'd just like to say it's the applicants actually taken on board what was said and changed the plan. So yeah, I'll back Helen up on this. I'm neutral now, to be fair.
Okay. Can I propose then that we're neutral on this one? Councillor Stinchcombe. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Davison. All those in favour, please show. That's it. Thank you. Right, the next one is the last one, which is DC 20-0614 RM. Can we read the? I don't know if Colin is still having trouble, but can we read the part that says the rationale behind the revision? I've also got a bit of a problem. I think we should, I don't know if this is the time, but we should be looking at whether a drop-off point for car passengers as well in the school side that's getting hopefully to be built. There's a drop-off for buses, but there's no drop-off for cars and the passengers. If we can get the, Colin, it's another job for you. We can get the rationale behind the revision up.
Yeah, sorry, what's the reference number for the planning application? I'll try and pull it up.
Right, DC 20-0614 RM.
Colin, you had an email earlier from John with all these on. That might be easier to go through that one.
The last one, Colin.
Hang on a second. Okay, I'll have to launch my Outlook then.
Sorry, I got it all ready to share the screen and can't do that.
For some unknown reason, the setting has it switched off, and I switched it back on. Probably not surprisingly, it doesn't work mid-meeting.
I was all prepared this time, and it doesn't work. Shall I read out the amendments, Pat?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, that would help.
So according to the planning application that's come through, the reconsultation is being carried out due to amendments to the submitted plans and documents as summarised below. Widening of the application red line along the proposed highway to accommodate soft and landscaping. Amendments to improve the general legibility of the plans. including the provision of a whole site schematic, changes to the parking arrangements for sports pitches, provision of a street hierarchy plan, pedestrian and cycle access plan, and supplementary environmental statement. And then there's some updated and amended documents which are on the portal.
Okay. Yeah, it's a similar reason why I wanted the rationale behind the revision. You know, it is rather much longer, but I've wondered if people have read it, and because it gives you an overview of that, what you just read out as well, really. Okay, is there any comments on that? Because I presume you've read it. Is there any comments on this particular application? No? And so the only comment I've got is that there should be a drop-off point for cars and passengers to drop their children off. I don't know if anyone, I've noticed Councillor Sixton put his thumb up. I don't know if it,
well, Colin's managed to share the rationale. That's why I was waving my thumb, just in case Colin couldn't see what splendour he was revealing.
I haven't got it on my screen. Has anybody else got it up? Oh, right. Wonder why I haven't. Yeah, I can't hear you.
It's pushed all my video over to one side of my screen. I'm using a laptop at the moment. It's pushed all the video window of Zoom to one side, and then it's given over the most of the Zoom screen to what Colin's sharing. But obviously on a phone it won't be doing that. It'll be doing something different.
I'm on my laptop now.
Okay, well, I was hoping you would just have to.
Well, then if I can exit full screen, it's frozen now.
But on your taskbar, is there a second Zoom window, you know, or a shadow of the first Zoom window that has probably got the Colin sharing on it?
Yeah, it says exit full screen. If I go to that, it lets me. It's not letting me at the moment. Doesn't matter. I'll be fine with that because I've read it in any case. So that's the only thing that I've got is Councillor Sixton.
Pat, do you have a particular drawing that identifies what you're worried about, or is it that you can't yet find a drawing that tells you anything about what you were previously concerned about?
Yeah, there is one of the drawings on there that's got where the actual school, and if you zoom in, there's a drop-off point. You'll see a drop-off point. It's sort of like a road, tiny little road. They've got one for.
Have you got a document number for that, Pat, so I can pull it up on my screen?
I never wrote that down in my notes, I'm afraid.
Because there are literally hundreds of documents on there, I think, you know, and it just makes
it's
people.
One of the top ones that
on the list.
On the list, yeah.
Did it have engineering in the name? Is that what I should be looking for?
I can't remember now from that.
It's not the amended design and access statement, is it?
I think we might have lost Pat.
Sorry, so a different document that you want me to bring up now?
Well, the trouble is that we don't know what the name of the document is. I suppose it's one of the infrastructure documents, but some were called infrastructure engineering and some were called just plain infrastructure, and Pat hasn't made a note of what we're looking for. It's just one of the ones near the top, you know, so we could be toiling to find it again. But I mean, the point is he's found a recent drawing. This is a whole recent crop of documents, isn't it, at the top? So he's not looking at an old one, and he thinks he believes that he still cannot see any evidence of anywhere for cars to pull in. So I mean, that's something we're concerned about. So we can comment on that. It's not our fault if we can't quote the exact document number.
170 documents, I think. Yeah.
So cars to pull in where, do we know?
Outside the school.
Oh, outside school, so I missed that bit, sorry.
Are you,
He said
are
there
you
was
able to see the list I'm scrolling through?
Hello, I apologise. My screen on my laptop froze again, so I'm back on my phone. It doesn't seem to like swapping over to things on the screen for some reason, screen sharing.
I think I'm screen sharing the West Suffolk planning page with a list of all the documents. Is that right?
You are, yes,
You
you
are.
are.
But we don't know which is the document that Pat wants us to look at.
no.
I should have made a note on my notes.
Are you able to see it, Pat?
I'm just looking at the sheets. Says I can't seem to I can see it on the screen, but it was near the top because I just looked at the top ones really. I didn't go any further. I think it might be that red line site plan.
Are you still seeing the list, or are you now seeing the red line site plan?
Seeing nothing at the moment. I've got page one of one, but not actually any document showing.
I've got a map.
Oh yeah, now got
There
the
it
red
is.
line.
Right, if you can see the grey line, you can see the grey line at the centre.
There.
There it is, that one. That's the drop-off point for the buses. Because the school is sort of next to it. But there's nothing there for cars. You know, there's no drop-off point for cars. I think the school actually is more south because it is on another document. I think it's on the next document. There's it shows the school, where the school's going to be, and I think it's to the west of that maybe. The school and there's other sort of things that's going on it as well. I think that'd be something like a shopping area.
Show the next one down, Colin, pedestrian and cycle access.
Pedestrian and cycle access.
Oh, you're looking at the West Suffolk thing, sorry. Okay, I was looking at my server.
Yeah, look, go for the infrastructure engineering layout. Or is that
Master
it might be the next one down, which is infrastructure engineering layout. It might be on there.
Just loading at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just appeared on my screen, so it'll be a few moments before it appears on yours. That's
Yeah.
got to be local school and community
There
facilities.
it is. There's a school and community facilities. So you can see, as I say, on there, you can see that drop off for buses. But obviously we don't know where the school is actually going to be built. We know it's in that area, and we don't know where the community facility is going to be built, either in that area. But hopefully there'll be enough room there for a drop-off point for cars as well in that road. Perhaps they could make that road wider, so you could have a point for buses and then a point for drop-off point for cars. Because otherwise the people that live in that area are going to have loads of cars parked in their drives and what have you again.
But Pat, who?
I don't know what is to get this to read.
Councillor Sitchcombe?
Pat, who is to say that the school is even down that end of the site? Supposing it's up the, I don't know, the northeast side of the site, where those two stubs of road are shown going off into Block G. Phase 3B. You know, well, you don't want a block off site in the bus bay. You want a drop off site off that other road, don't you? Off the loop road up higher. Yeah. So,
well, anyway, you know, I'm sure the planners have got experience of loads of other places where they have a drop off, because you've got a drop off in Stamley Ward, haven't you, for cars, which goes round the car park.
Yeah, but my point is, if you don't even know that that's an enormous great block, that magenta tinting, isn't it? If you do not, I mean, why do we know there's got to be a bus bay there? Because it's a general purpose transport link into school and community facilities. So they've got to put it somewhere, and that's where that particular piece of infrastructure is planned. But you can't provide infrastructure for any other site because we don't know what's going on that site, do we? So I think it's something to flag, Pat, you know, when we get to know what is going in there, you know, please can we make sure that there will be blah, blah, blah. But I think it's maybe a bit early to worry about that.
Yeah, there's some description beside that lay-by area. Can we zoom in and see what that actually says? Looks like there's some description.
Well, that is a bus drop-off, because I've seen it in the plans before.
Yeah, it'd be just interesting to read what it says beside it. Just
yeah. Even that's too small for me.
Yeah, I can read it. It says road alignment and bus lay-by shown indicatively. Exact internal arrangement will be subject to proposed school layout. Consultation to be given to landscape buffer and proposed car park and something.
Landscape buffer. Sorry.
Yeah, landscape buffer between proposed car park and existing boat, whatever the boat is.
It's byway open to all traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like it's just indicative at the moment until the school, plans come forward. It looks like, it'll be decided then. As long as we've got entrances coming off the road, I presume that then can be, looked at later. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing, what's making me a bit worried is that they've put that in very quickly. You know, they put that in sort of a year or two ago, just for the buses, but there's nothing there at all for the drop off for the cars. And I'm just worried about the people in the close area that's going to have cars. There should be some sort of drop off of cars as well.
Yeah.
So I think we should just flag it up. Just keep flagging it up as we see these particular plans, really.
Yeah.
If that's agreeable with the committee.
Yeah.
Can I just add
Yeah.
something, Pat?
Yeah, Councillor
Uh,
Burns, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you that Stagecoach are talking to Persimmon about the bus routes through this site at the moment, and nothing yet's been agreed regarding, you know, and not just this, but bus stops and all kinds of other things, because it all depends on the phasing of the system and how Stagecoach can get their own buses around the site. Now, obviously, you know, school buses may be sorry different, but I do know, as Councillor Brown just mentioned, a lot of this is purely indicative around. This is not detail. This is just purely the basic layout of the site. There's no detailed drawings of you know, like we've had in the past of things, but it's just purely a layout side of things.
Right. Okay, right. Where do we go? Is there any more?
Councillor Brown's got his hand up, Pat.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry because it's on my phone. I can't see everyone unless I swipe the page. Councillor Brown?
Yeah, all it was, so there's a lot going on around that area. Obviously, it's going to be a school area, etc., cycleways and everything else going across there. I just wondered if at this early stage we could ask them or put it in for Suffolk Highways to potentially make that a 20-mile-an-hour zone in front of that school. Don't know. Is that something we could do or propose?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Right, is there any more? No? Okay. Right, Vicky, you got that? Right, can we have a proposal for what I've said and what Councillor Brown has just said as well? Can we have a proposer? Councillor Stitchcombe, propose. Can we have a seconder, please? Councillor Brown. All those in favour, please show. Right, thank you for that. Right, we've got to go back now to the DC 2013-65, is it, Vicky?
Yeah.
Which is the further comments. Can you get that up, please, Colin?
Yeah, I'll just sort that in just a second. So I had a different set of plans up, so I'll just get those up.
Sorry.
What I picked up from the neighbours' comments was that this is the daughter really objecting on the mum's behalf, who's 99, that it's 2 stories, and that they're casting doubt on whether it really needs to be 2 stories, which is the second story over the cart lodge is shown as storage, and they're saying, well, why do you need storage for a big house? But that's their business, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
If you can be prepared to get the map, not the actual
Block plan.
area. No, the area showing the actual because she's talking about light, and I want something the area map so we can see which way the sun comes around. That's it, that one as well. Oh no, there's a better one than that actually, Colin.
The block plan is what you want to show
that
property in relationship to the neighbours.
Yeah, it's got the actual thing that's going up. That one, that's the one.
Yeah.
If you can go zoom up or go down so we can see the down part of it, so we can see which is pointing north. You can push it up a bit.
Well, north is up.
Yeah, north, that's it, up, yeah. I just want you to see the obviously the sun starts in the east, which will be pointing towards her front window and then going round towards her back. So I don't think personally it will block sunlight in any case.
Well, it will at this time of year. It will in the summer. In the height of summer, the sun rises above east, doesn't it? It rises to the northeast in the height of summer. But by this time of year, by the equinox, it's rising due east, in which case that would, the corner of that new red block would be still possibly shading her front window if she's up early enough.
Yeah, I mean, the building itself is going to be 5.5 meters. Sorry, John's for me. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Councillor Brown.
John.
Councillor Burns, sorry.
Sorry, no, I was going to say I looked at this yesterday. I had a difficulty reading the first the elderly lady's objections, and the daughters clarified a lot more. If this was coming up before planning, I'd be asking for a shadow sector diagram, just to prove what's what, because it's quite a high building, got a high apex roof on it, and I'd be wanting to make sure that that doesn't any time of the year is the fact that that does not block sunlight into the house next door. But there is no shadow sector diagram, of course.
But that's not an absolute requirement that there should be absolutely no shading. It's equally a reasonable thing to ask for, isn't it? Is to see the maths.
Well, you don't, unless you don't know, do you?
Well, we do, but by sheer knowledge of where the sun rises in the morning, but we don't know what percentage of her sunlight she is going to lose relative to now, do we? So it's a reasonable thing to ask for, isn't it? The good news is that it is, which is it? It's Eve's side of this cart lodge onto the boundary, not the gable side. So the highest point of the roof is actually out towards the pavement, isn't it? It's not, it's not immediately obstructing her if it was turned around so that the cart lodge was facing the road. But, until someone actually puts it into a 3D model, we won't know, will we?
I suppose we could put it in the comments about that, couldn't we?
I think is it neutral with a comment that we didn't have quite enough information, or should we object on the grounds that we didn't have quite enough information?
Does anyone else?
I think
want to make a comment, Councillor Davison?
I'm a bit concerned about the fact that the proposed building would be to the front of all the houses, and as the daughter is obviously saying, on that stretch, there's no one else has built to the front. They've obviously in the past converted their garage into the house. I think it's very, very big, and it's stuck right in the front garden. I think it's going to be an eyesore, personally. I'm also a bit worried about why would they need storage upstairs? Do you think they're maybe looking to have it so that eventually it could be living accommodation or perhaps business accommodation?
Well, that's what normally happens. They normally make the upstairs into a business. That's happened in the Ratting Road on the other side of the road. They've got places in their front garden, but they're well hidden. They got a cart lodge in their front garden across the road, because I'll tell you why, because my son, when he left school, he worked there at the top. It was in the end they moved because the business got bigger. But that's the sort of thing that they do. Yeah. But can we object on them grounds, Councillor Burns?
Yeah, of course you can object on those grounds because of the street view.
Yeah.
As has been pointed out by the neighbour and Tony just mentioned, is I don't know of anything. I mean, you only have to look at that little cross section there. There's nothing in the front gardens. So the buildings are all roughly in a line, although obviously each one is uniquely different in terms of its building. But they've obviously built those houses for that reason. So they're all along with long front gardens. And now we're basically proposing to put a big building 3 meters from the, 10 foot from the driveway. And it's a 17.5 foot building, tall building.
Yeah.
That's twice as more. It's getting probably about. It's at least 2 stories on a normal house.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be saying. I if it's behind the house, not a problem.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bruce and John have covered a lot of my points, but basically, as you say, there's that line of lovely buildings as you go up Ratting Road, and they're all pretty much in line. This is potentially going to stick out and you change that street view quite considerably. And as you say, we haven't been given, I am concerned in the amount. It's a big building, as John says, it's 5.5 meters, 17 odd feet high. I am concerned about the poor lady's light. She's an elderly lady. I know that you're not guaranteed a view in life, but you are guaranteed a reasonable amount of light into your room. And she obviously uses that room to look out. And if her daylight is diminished, it isn't just sunlight; it's daylight. So I've got concerns around the building itself and the positioning of it. As John says, if that was in the back, wouldn't have any problem whatsoever.
Can I just add that it might be worthwhile? Sorry, I don't know whether you can see me or not. Sorry.
Yeah.
It might be worthwhile bringing up Google Street View if you can, Colin. It's at the end of Chalkstone Way.
Councillor Davison?
Yeah, I tried to find it on, and you can't really get it up. You can only get Ratting Road, but then maybe I was doing it wrong. But I mean, my view is that if this was just a single-story building, then there shouldn't be a problem. It's because of the fact that they're putting the first floor onto it.
It's just slightly north of Chalkstone, Colin, I believe, if I remember rightly.
Councillor Stinchcombe?
I'm not quite so concerned about the street view because there's an awful lot of hedge. I mean, in fact, in front of the house in question, there is a massive amount of hedge. So, okay, you can peer up their drive and probably see their big cart lodge, and you might be able to see it from the bang at the end of Chalkstone Way, looking across diagonally, you might be able to see it. But there's an awful lot of the frontage on Ratting Road is hedges. You don't actually see an awful lot of the houses. So I'm not quite sure whether we would still be objecting to a single story cart lodge without the stuff on top.
Can you see street view now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the house to the left? Is it?
It's swing to the left, Colin.
To the left, Colin, yeah.
The one with the brown bins is next door. Is up this 2 foot. That's it. Yeah. So you look up their drive, you would be looking at the carport, the cart lodge, where whatever that red bit on the ground is.
Yeah, it's not the view from the road I'm interested in. It's actually the view from the house next door.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's slightly left, Colin. That's interesting. You've got a slightly different Google Street View to me. Which one is it? Is it the one with the caravan in the garden?
Yes.
Yeah. But if you look left, you see how the house to the left, which I think is what it's called, Haverhill something. I can't remember the name of the road. What's the name of it?
Yeah.
The one who's objected. I can't remember the name of the house.
That's the objector's house, wasn't it? With the small hedge. That one, isn't it?
This
on the left is the objector's house, yeah. And where the caravan is or just beyond where the caravan is where the cart lodge is proposed.
The applicant, right?
Applicant. That's how I just if you imagine that thing there, what view are they going to have from their house next door?
They've got a massive great tree in their own garden. I'm not sure why they're complaining about light from next door.
No, I think that's the applicant's tree. I think both of them trees, I think, are the applicants, aren't they?
not the one that's bang to the left of Colin's view at the moment. That's on the boundary of the objector.
Oh, right.
Where that fence stops, yeah, is where the objector's property starts. So I'm not saying there isn't anything on the applicant's property in the corner, but the tall tree or thin tree is on the objector's. So she has got obstruction to her own light, but at least she can see the sky, can't she? She can get light from the sky, even if she can't get the early morning rays of the sun or whatever. Yeah. And it's true that sticking a twin-story cart lodge close to her front room, it will obstruct her light to some extent. But I was sort of countering Tony's point. I'm not objecting to it. The street view thingy. Yeah. I'm saying it's very obvious when you're looking at a map or satellite imagery. I'm not sure that the street view is such a big issue if you're actually looking in, as we are in this street view, in from the street. I mean, yes, you do stand to see this cart lodge, but a hell of a lot of the other gardens are shrouded by trees. I mean, look at the one up the hill a bit, it's got hedge all around it. If they were to have a tall cart lodge in there, we wouldn't. You see what I mean? The view up the street, you're not really aware what's in people's front gardens unless you're looking up their drive.
Yeah, but trees, go into leaf and out of leaf. And it's as I say, all the buildings themselves are on a virtual line. I'm just concerned that this is going to be 10 foot away from the path, and it's 5.5 meters, 17 foot high. There's a lot of difference between a tree, beautiful natural tree, and a hard structure. I don't know if it's enough to totally object, but I just say I've got personal concerns myself. I don't know. Yeah, don't know.
Right, where do we go from here then? Do we object, or are we neutral?
To be fair, I propose that we object because we haven't got enough information around the potential light issues, how it's going to impact on the lady next door. I mean, if we can get some more information around that, I personally would be more, happy, to make a decision, a more of an informed decision.
Pat, I'd like to propose that we mention the street view aspect. There would be a change of the pattern of land use up that frontage of the street. But equally, isn't there a sort of push at the moment to increase the density of housing nationally, not just locally, but nationally? Because otherwise we're just mopping up more and more farmland all the time, aren't we? These are enormously big sites, these, aren't they? If you think of the size of their back gardens, as well as that's an enormous front garden by most people's standards, isn't it? And it's an enormous back garden. And to increase the density, I mean, it isn't really increasing the density. We're thinking of a cart lodge instead of cars and caravans and stuff standing out in the open. So it's covering up what is there anyway. I suppose we could also question whether the second story makes it more objectionable than just a cart lodge, because the cart lodge is a low story, isn't it? It's tall enough for you to get your vehicle under and stand up under, but it doesn't have to have quite as much clearance above your head as a story of a house does. So it's a low structure if it's single story, and it, as everyone says, it's suddenly that much bigger if you're going to stick an actual story on top.
Is it possible for me to make a comment, please?
Anyone else wants to talk?
That was Colin calling.
Yeah. Chair, do you mind if I to make an observation? Just in terms of the character, the street, the character of that particular section of Racting Road. It's the entry into the town at the moment, and it's characterised by those large properties on that side, which are all quite well set back. And we did see very clearly the building line was built to have those houses well back from the main road. There is a principle here in terms of, do you want to allow people to start building? Well, it's really right at the very front of their plot. It's well beyond the front of the building line. And what that'll do to the character of the road if everybody follows suit, particularly if it's used as at the very least, additional dwelling space as opposed to potentially an entirely separate dwelling. We've seen other places where large plots with large houses are redeveloped and in some respects perhaps overdeveloped. And I just wonder whether you wanted to protect the character of the Ratting Road as it is, or whether you are happy to see building happening in front of the established building line.
Yeah. I personally,
Councillor Brown?
Yeah, I personally would concur with Colin's comments, really. Yeah, it's the gateway to the town from the north. It's always been one of the best entrances to the town as you come down that lovely hill with the houses set back. My concern is it's going to be ruined, or not ruined, it's going to be changed by having, buildings in front of the, the existing building line. We're having 4,000 houses in Haverhill. Do we need to cram everything in, to every garden? You've got to have a nice mixture. Yeah, that's what I think personally, anyway.
Yeah. Is there any more comments on this? No? Right, Vicky, have you got all that? Because I agree with everything that's been said personally.
Yes, I have got everything. So are you proposing to object?
Yes.
So you're objecting on pretty much what Colin said. Do you want to rule out having a single story then? Because that was mentioned. Or we're just not wanting any building in the front at all, as Colin mentioned?
Personally, I don't think we should have any building, but I don't know about the rest of the committee. Councillor Burns?
I was just going to say, Vicky, you're commenting on the application before you. You can't make suggestions about, you may have desire, but you can't say, if it was a single story building, we'd have a different view.
Okay, so we're objecting and we're mentioning about the character of the street, not building in the front, blah, 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 and the neighbours' sunlight. So do you want to request also a shadow diagram?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Mention the word street view.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've circled street view. Yeah.
And it is, as Colin mentioned, about coming into the town as well.
Yeah, I've got the gateway to the north, the character of the street view, what happened to the character of the road? Do we want to protect, we're protecting that character. I've got all that.
Yeah. Okay, can I have a proposer for this objection, please?
Bruce, thank you.
Bruce, seconder. Councillor Brown?
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favour, please show. Right, yep. Thank you very much. Right, thank you for that. I've got to get back to bear with me a sec. It's my agenda, which is matters to report. Matters to report. Councillor Burns?
Yeah, just one very quick one that I know of at the moment. I've not had any responses to all the other stuff, but West Suffolk recently wrote to the owners of the Atherton and Ellis site again, asking them what their proposals are in terms of coming back with another application for housing on the site. as of yet, they have not had a response, but our view is probably they're waiting to get some income from the site next door before they look at coming up with a proposal. But West Suffolk reconfirmed they're happy to work with them regarding the car park at the front. Thank you. To get that, Vicky, sorry.
Right, thank you for that.
Yes, did. Thank you.
Anyone else? Matters to report? No? Right, thank you. Let's get back to, which is the date of the next meeting, which is very quickly come upon us, which is the 6th of October. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending, and I hope to see you on the 6th of October.
Bruce wants to say something, I think.
Just to Vicky, apologies for absence on the 6th of October, please.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Alan.
Alan.
Councillor Stitchcombe?
Struggling to unmute myself again. Can we use the remaining hour? It sounds like we're all about to just disappear off the screen, but can we use the rest of the time until 9 or pushing on towards 9 to get back to planning consultation? Because we've got another one due in on the to NALC anyway, on is it the 13th or the 15th of October, which is not many weeks away, is it? And we've got another planning meeting in the meantime.
I haven't had a chance to prepare the answers. I undertook to write a draft to the white paper. I've already submitted our views on that were agreed at the last meeting to the changes to the planning system. So they've been submitted to NALC and to the MHCLG. I haven't had a chance. I apologise for doing for completing the whole of the other document yet. So at this stage, I'm not actually kind of prepared to. I haven't got everything with me to be able to start noting discussions. Sorry, didn't even occur to me that question might come up. I apologise, Anne.
Chair, can I speak? I think also that Liz and David would like to be in on that conversation, so we can organise a specific meeting for that.
Councillor Stitchcombe?
I just feel any opportunity to discuss anything, we ought to be seizing it really, if we possibly can. Just because some people aren't here doesn't mean that they can't chip in later on, and we can start. I don't know. It just seems we're fairly short of time. I don't know. Maybe this is a piece of cake compared with the previous one. But if it's at all contentious, we probably need. We could. I mean, how many meetings did we use on the previous one? Three and a half meetings, didn't we? I think. So, and time is ticking on. So I would favour using tonight to at least start to discuss it if we can. I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand what Colin was saying about the other document. I don't know what other, because I think I missed last meeting for some reason.
There were two documents that we're commenting on. One is the document called Changes to the Planning System, and that was the one that NALC was calling for early October. And we've met that deadline and submitted our responses. And obviously you're the main author of that document in any case. The next document we're working on is the white paper, and we did make a start after we finished the last document, and I undertook to prepare draft answers to all the questions. So I completed the undertaking to do it, but I haven't completed doing it.
Okay, well, I can see that puts me at a disadvantage because I wasn't at that meeting. I can't think why I wasn't there. Oh, I had a day off. That was my holiday that Tuesday. My annual holiday was that Tuesday. And that was a very exciting Tuesday. I can remember it well. So for all the wrong reasons, actually, it was a very exciting Tuesday. But if I start bringing up the things I would have said if I'd been attending without the benefit of Colin's notes, I could be boring everyone to tears, and probably would do so in any case. But
what about sending a round robin email
I could put round what I had prepared for the previous meeting, yeah, and people can tell me that it's all been dealt with and we've all got that under control. Or how interesting, Alan! Thank you very much.
No, I mean, it'd be great if you could do that. That'd be, appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
would be
been
good.
done. We haven't done the work yet, so I would personally be first among grateful people for anything you already prepared. That would be very useful.
Okay.
Councillor Burns?
I'm just going to say we haven't officially closed the planning meeting. We're still live streaming, by the way.
Oh.
So can we close the meeting if we're going to discuss anything? You hear me, Pat?
I think he's frozen. Are you frozen,
It's still
Pat?
showing live on my screen.
Yeah, but we haven't closed the meeting, Pat. You haven't closed the meeting.
Oh, I thought I did. Thank you, everyone. I did say thank you, everyone. And the date of the next meeting.
And then I interrupted